counties in there and sort of expanded it to the state. And you know, it takes a while for new technology like this to get adopted, and so I'm happy that the system is pretty stable. You shouldn't see a lot of errors and bugs in it. We kind of worked all those out, but now where we are is just getting people to use it and finding out how people use it, and seeing if we have to, for example, add any more security restrictions and so on. And I think as we go through this today, you will see that there are a couple of places where we're probably going to have to add some additional security. But we can all be a part of that in discussing that and making sure it gets done in the right way. So this talk is really intended for precinct presidents, but of course it can be it's accessing the database, so it can be used by district chairs or region chairs or county chairs. I'll talk a little bit more about some of the additional things you have to think about when you're looking at when you're district chair and so on. And then also I'll also briefly talk a little bit about what just members see when they log in. So if this were a PowerPoint presentation, this would be my first slide. Membership database is used by presidents and chairs to contact members in all the ways that members can be contacted. You know, we're never going to get everybody on email, and we're never going to get everybody. We're never going to get everybody's phone number, but you know, we pretty much have everybody's address, except for a couple people I can think of. But yeah, and the problem is by mail is the most expensive to get to members. The phone is second, and of course email is free pretty much. So you want to be able to get at members as inexpensively as you can. And also, which is kind of, I think is kind of almost more important, is the more people that know and understand how to use the database and know what they can do with the database, the better, the sooner we'll have a database that is have high integrity and highly accurate and so on. So that's kind of my goal. In addition to getting people to use it, it would be nice if in a couple years or so we really had a good, accurate database that we can rely on. And you know, when you send out emails now, you do get a few bounce backs because the email addresses are bad. When you send correspondence to members, you get letters back and so on. And it would be nice if we could do a mail out and actually not get anything back. So each member, every member is in the database, and every member with an email address that we have on record has a login. And of course, there's a big, huge percentage of people that have logins that have never logged in. That's because they don't know. It's also easy. It's also now easy to register your email address if we don't have your email address. Now, most correspondence that goes out to party members, this thing is set up so the member number, your member number is actually next to your name on your address label, and with that you can go to the website and enter that in, and then we can have your email address. So so you turn into the cheapest, the least expensive kind of member to contact. Now, so members can log in. They can update their contact information. They can unsubscribe from email lists. And there's an events calendar in there. You can see the events that have been entered. And there's also other things like, you can see the party leadership lists and so on. If you're a precinct president, you have more access. Obviously, you can look up members. You can look up member records. You You can send these email news alerts that you get them from Enel. You can send them to your precinct or your district. You're able to update member records. You're not only able to update your own member record, but you're able to update anybody else's member record in your precinct. You're able to search the voter file and add members pending. If you, right now, that's not really, quote, legal according to party rules, but the capability is in there. You can download spreadsheets of members, and you can also download spreadsheets of voters. And you can print mailing labels directly from your browser. You don't have to print out. You don't have to download a spreadsheet and use the mail merge or the mailing label feature of Word. You can just print them directly from your browser. You can print pre-addressed postcards from your browser. This is the address side of the postcard. The other side, the comment side, which you still have to do that in your normal way. And you can also contribute to the calendar. So when you log on, this is the website. You all probably know the website. It looks like. This is what it looks like. And at the top, there's going to be recent events in the events calendar. There's only one event in there right now. It's this one. And by the way, tomorrow when you go to this page, this won't be there anymore because it knows that after November 3rd, not to show it anymore. So here's where you log in. If you know your email address and your password, if you've logged in before, then you enter it here. If you don't remember your email address, if you figure you have a login and maybe you've never logged in before, or you've forgotten your password, you can just type your email address here and click the email button, and you'll get an email with your password in it. And if you don't have, if you are pretty sure that the party does not have your email address, or if your email address has changed, you can come here and enter in your member number and your last name and your new email address and click submit, and then the party will then have your email address and you'll have a login. Of course, it'd be nice if we had, we only have like about 15% email addresses for members. I mean, that's just. Okay, so that's this. And when a member logs in, it looks like this. Let me log in as my wife.
Question?
Yes?
How do you figure out, I don't know what my member number is. Is there a way of accessing that?
Yeah, your member number. Did you ever get one of these postcards from the state? The last mail out that we sent, Wahoo County sent out, if you look on the address, your member number is right next to your name.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And I noticed when I gave this presentation, the first presentation, there are some labels in there that don't have member numbers on there, and I just have, so I'm going to go away after this and make sure that all the labels in there have member numbers showing, so we can really try to get all the members' email addresses. Okay, so I'm going to log in as my wife because she doesn't have access to anything but her own record. And so this is what it looks like when she logs in. She doesn't have any special access or anything, and so this is what she can do. She can. You'll notice on the right you see the party leadership for you. Okay, And we live in District 17, Precinct 7. So on the right here, it's going to show her precinct president, her district chair, and her region chair, and the county chair, and the state chair. And of course, if you live in some other precinct, you know, obviously, you have your stuff. And if you click on these links, you know, you'll see that their email addresses are there, so you can email them. And this is what the events calendar looks like. This, and then she can also update her membership record. And this is her membership record that she can, all the stuff she can update. She can remove herself from mailing lists. She can change this. Now, and her mailing address, not her residential address, because that's attached to her voter file. That's kept to match her voter file. So if she wants to change this, if she moves, or if we move, then we go down and next time, or we go tell the voter registrar, we change our address, and then it gets changed in the voter file, and then when we get the new voter file, then it'll get updated here automatically. But let's say you move, or let's say we move and we haven't updated our voter registration file yet, you know, the city and county, then the precinct president or somebody else can actually go in and change the residential address. And you can change your password. One note here is that if you go in to this update your membership record, and everybody has this, and in there you change your password, then it's a two-step process. You change your password, you click the submit button, and then you get a confirmation email at your new email, address, and you click that, and then once that's clicked, then the system knows that you typed in a valid email address and it's correct, and it's you, and then you're able to, and then it has your new email address. Okay, so I'm on page 5 now, section 7. I just talked about this. Okay, so the precinct president login menu, precinct president can do more stuff. Okay, so precinct president logs in. Here, hold on a minute. So I made up this precinct president and a password. And this is what the precinct president screen looks like. So there's more stuff. There's the precinct president can enter into the calendar of events. And what's kind of cool about this calendar of events is that you can say whether it's like if you're in precinct, you know, like if my wife in precinct 7, she's not precinct president. If Amy, our precinct 7 president, enters in an event, let's say Annelle asked her to put this in or something, then she can check it as an Oahu County event, and then everybody in Oahu County will see it when they log into their events and see it on their events calendar. Now, if she marks it off as only a district event, then everybody in District 17 who logs in will see the event there, but someone in District 18 who logs in will not see the event there because it's not relevant to them. And then also this security thing, if it's visible to the public, then it will show up on the home page. You know when you go to the. But if it's visible only to members, then it's not going to be shown on any of the public calendars.
Question for you, Rick.
Yes.
What if we think we would be more effective than our district chair using these tools? Is there a mechanism by which an active member in a district can utilize them? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. You can. We would like to encourage every district or every precinct to be using this, and so if your district chair doesn't feel comfortable going in here, then he or she can just designate somebody. And,
okay.
And then there are these other mailing lists. There are listservs that are in there too. And every district has 2 listservs, okay? They've got a D district number members at whitedemocrats.org, and there's a D district number officers at whitedemocrats.org. And every district or precinct officer, okay, every member is on the D members list. Every precinct or district officer is on the officers list. Every officer can email to every other officer in a district, but district chairs are the only ones that can email to district members. So this precinct president, this is actually like Amy Monk. This precinct president is able to send an email to this email address, or actually to this email address. They're able to send an email to this email address. Actually, it's the same as this email address. They're both the same email address. And when you send an email to this email address, these are all the people that are precinct officers. They get it. It turns out that everybody on this list, okay, these are all the people that can send to this list, and these are all the recipients of the list. It's the same list. So that's kind of a nice feature that nobody uses. For the district membership, that's a feature that I know that a lot of the district chairs use. Okay, and then the next thing that precinct presidents can do that regular members cannot do is they have this section down here. And this section is the membership database and the voter database. Okay, the membership database has all the members, and the voter database is the voter file that we get from the state, the city and county. So if you just want to search the member database, that's this one. If you want to search for voters, then you can search here. If you want to search voters by households, there's some special features in there. You can click that one. But yeah, we're here to talk about members. So to do any one of these, you have to check this checkbox first. All that checkbox does is it makes sure that you understand that this is the member database is governed by the rules of the party. The voter database is governed by state statutes, and the state law says that you can have access and look at the voter database if you're going to use it for one of these 3 reasons. Okay. Okay. That a reason is not that you want to find out who your office mate lives with. Okay? That's not a reason. But if you want to send your office mate something to get him or her to vote for somebody, then you can use it for that reason. So to use the member database, you do this, and you can click here, or select this radio button, and click here. And this is the search form, the member search form. Okay, I'm on page 6, section 8. This is what the membership database search form looks like for precinct presidents. So these are all the things that these are all the search criteria that you can do for, now, if you just want to list to the people in your precinct, you don't have to do anything. Just come down and click the search button, and you are basically searching for all the people in your precinct, and you get the list here. Now, it shows 10 records at a time. If you want to see more, you can change this number here. If you want to see more at a time, you can change the number here. One nice thing here is this 1 line per row. So like if you want a quick list of everybody in your precinct, you can just do this, and you'll get everybody in your precinct. So this is a nice list of everybody in our precinct. Like let's say, you want to do you want to call some people for something or whatever. This is or if you want to hand the list to somebody, you know, this is a good thing to use to print it out. Okay, so if we go back to, another thing is that, let's say you just want to find out, if you want to find somebody, you don't need to like type in like their first and last name and all that. Just like type in some information. Like, let's say I'm looking for, let's say I want to know what Amy's, Amy Monk's phone number is. I can just type Monk here and hit enter. And yeah, sure, I'm going to get all the monks, but there's not many monks, So but if I were to do something like type, let's see, Amy Monk, if I spell her name wrong, and then I don't even, she's not in our district. Well, turns out I just spelled her name wrong. So it's like the less information, the better when you're doing searches. You can do these wildcard things. See that there? So like if I want to find everybody whose last name starts with M-O, then I can do that, and I get, all the people whose last name starts with M-O. So when you're searching, and this goes for all the databases, and in fact it goes for everything. When you're searching, now if you're searching the state database for Fred Chang or somebody like that, John Wong, then maybe you want to type in more information. Then you want to type in more information than just Wong, because I know there's like, there's like a few hundred Wongs who are voters, and that then you'd be paging through. So I could do like, let's say it's Jack Wong, and you don't know if Jack is his real name or Jack is just a middle name or as a nickname for John. Then you can just do something like this. I don't think I have anybody John Wong for the precinct. So anyway, let's go back to everybody. Just out of curiosity, if you want to see how many people in my precinct have email addresses, you can click that, and we see that there's only 16. Boy, we're doing good. This guy doesn't live there anymore. So I'm going to do this. Do this. So anyway, let me get back to what else. So now I'm on page 7, section 9. So this is what when you do a search, you see a page like this. As I was pointing out before, if you want to update some record, you can just click on the name, and you have the person's record here. It looks very similar to when you update your own record, but you're able to update the residential address and so on. You see the voter file information, and of course you're able to put people back on mailing lists if you feel they should be on a mailing list if they're not impressions. Okay, so to print out mailing labels, see this row right up here, this one. You can print out mailing labels by name, and in this case you see that Brent and Paul, even though they live at the same address, they're separate labels. Or you can print out labels by address, and here they're combined. They should have their member number here. I gotta go and figure out what I'm doing differently to make it not show up there. But of course, this is good because you save money. It's not perfect because we see my wife and I reason for that is because it matches last names. And the reason it matches last names is because people who live in apartment buildings, sometimes they don't put their apartment number on, so you get a whole bunch of people who live at that address with no apartment number, and then, but it's still nice to group them, so you still group them, you group their last name, but you end up with separate, it still end up with separate mailings to the same address. So, when you have mailing labels, to print these mailing labels, you simply, I would start by going print preview, see what they look like, and you want to adjust your browser settings. So, do the page setup, and for mailing labels, do portrait, and have no header and no footer, and set all the margins to 0.2. And you end up looking like this. The next thing you gotta make sure you do is it defaults to shrink to fit, but you don't want shrink to fit, you want 100%. Okay, then it's all nice and lined up like this. And these will print, you can just put the mailing label paper in the printer and just print away. And always print on a plain paper sheet first. And with mailing labels, you take the sheet and you put it behind the labels and pull it up to the light and see that all the labels are fit properly. If they don't fit properly, it's probably because, you know, if the ones on top are correct but the ones on the bottom aren't, it's because this is probably not 100%, it's probably shrink to fit. And if it's like not centered, then it's because the margins aren't right. This has got to be a margin, and a margin there, it's got to be right so it fits on the page. And you know, you should page through them too, just to make sure they're all like there, and because it's possible that if you're printing a whole bunch of labels, like cut them to pages, then like starting at the 50th page is like it's off by one or something, and so you just got to go back and you just got to page through them all just to make sure they're all set right. And also, if you end up printing your whole precinct or your whole district of labels, and you look at them and they're wrong, you know, just don't worry about it. I mean, my study is filled with labels, perfectly printed labels, but for one reason or another, I can't use them. And you just gotta make sure next time you don't screw up, but don't keep yourself too much if you screw these things up. They're not that expensive. They're a little expensive. Okay, so now for these postcards, to do that, you click on this by address postcard here. And they look like this. Okay, here's the that thing. Okay, so again, you do print preview, and you got to make sure that it's set up right and it's not.
Rich?
Yes?
Do you need to have that special postcard printing stock to do this, or how do you do it?
Okay, there's two things you can do. Postcard printing stock is great because you are able to, if for just a precinct, well actually, yeah, the postcard printing stock is nice because then it's easy to break apart and you can make sure it's centered and you don't have to cut it or anything, okay? But they're actually kind of expensive. You know, it actually ends up being like about 10 cents a card. So those buggers are expensive. If you have to pay for them, it's better just to get cardboard stock paper at Fisher and get the heaviest cardboard type stock you can get. It's going to be 250 sheets of ream, and the reams are even fatter. And then you can just print them, and then you can, if it's just a precinct, you can probably just cut them by hand, okay? The postcards are going to be all like not uniform, but that's okay because when you're sending out to a precinct, you will be sending less than 200 postcards, so you're just going to send them first class anyway. If you're sending them first class, it's okay. It's, you know, using a 26-cent stamp, using a 26-cent postcard stamp, then the postcards can be like a little bit not perfect. If you're going to, once you're, okay, and if you're doing this first class, you want to, and you use this, you want to make sure that you put the first class stamp over this. You know, it's not that big a deal, but you know, just just stick the first class stamp, the 26-cent stamp, over this. Also, if you're mailing first class, if you're a precinct and you're mailing first class, then the return address can be your own return address, okay? So you can change that return address by right here, set postcard text, right here. Click that. And you have to, you have to enable pop-ups, I guess. And here's where you can type in the return address. You can also type in a note here. So you can change the return address, type in a different note, and that's this note that you see right here. So you can put a little notification, make sure you come to the next meeting or something. Okay. So if you are, okay, one more thing. These email news alerts that you get from NL people, that's this link right here. Okay, so you click that and you get this form. Looks like this. And here's where you type in, you're able to type in your message. One nice thing about this form is that it will remember the last thing you typed in. The advantage of that is that if you're doing your searches and stuff and you can't get everybody that you want to send this email to in one search, you can send it, and then you go search for more people, and you come back to this page, and everything, the message is the same, and you can send it to a different group of people. But you make sure you type in the subject, and then you're able to select how you want the person to be addressed. And then you type in your message, and then you can, there's these ways down here, you can check your message to make sure it's how you want it before you send it. So you can first start by just displaying the emails that you're going to send, just displaying them on the page here yourself. You can see that this is what it'll look like, this is what this guy's will look like, and so on. And then if you want, you can click here and click it, and it just sends it to you, just so you get it and see it. Oh, yeah, that's exactly right. And then when you really get your confidence right, you're ready to blast it to everybody, you can click this, click submit. And in this case, it's not going to go to 103 people because we don't have 103 email addresses. We only have like 16 or however many there were. And so when the page comes back, it'll show the people that it sent the emails to. It'll also show people who have email addresses, but it did not send an email to because they have opted out of the list. So then those people you can call. You think you're getting at them through email, but you're not. So that tells you that. And then I suggest you send them an automated phone message. And, they'd rather get that, I guess, than emails. I'm joking. Nobody likes automated phone messages, right? Okay, so that's how you do all these things. Are there any questions right now? Yes?
Yeah, in terms of getting more email addresses into the system, has anybody figured out a way to increase the numbers? Not any way that I think is any good, except for this thing that I set up here when we sent out when we sent out the postcards, and that is that you can send out a postcard to people, and in fact you may just want to send out a postcard just for this specific reason, but send out a postcard to everybody telling them, this is your member number. Go to this whole page, go to members.whitedemocrats.org, and type in your member number and your last name and your email address and hit submit. And then you will be helping to save the party money. And you can, we can offer a workshop on how to use the delete key on your email. So that way, if people get an email and they don't like it, they can just delete it. Very easy. but I would like to see, you know, an effort. And with this, you know, you can do it at the grassroots level. You can, you know, we should have a contest, you know, what the percentage of precincts, or the percentage of email addresses per, you know, per precinct, and you give them something if they, you know, the highest percentages. Okay, and so the last thing I'd like to talk about is considerations for if you're a district chair or a region chair or a county chair, or if you're a, you know, Democratic Party headquarters staff, where you're going to be doing these things with more than just a small number of members. If you're mailing to more than 200 addresses, then you can take advantage of standard bulk, nonprofit standard bulk mail. And as long as it's party business and you're sending it out, you know, it's like the party is sending it out, then you can qualify for the cheap rate. And the cheap rate for this, for the type of mail that we're talking about, is 11.3 cents per piece. And with the new standard postage rules that the post office adopted just in this last March or April or May or whatever it was, they changed all the prices. They really lowered the price for sending out standard mail that's unsorted, and they raised the price. They didn't raise the price. They just didn't. Yeah, they raised it a little bit for sending out standard mail that's got you know, the carrier routes on there and sorted by carrier route and all that. You know, it's got the barcodes on there, and so it's just not very much. You just don't save very much money anymore by putting barcodes and carrier routes and all that other stuff that's really expensive to do from the software point of view. So the type of numbers that we're talking, even for a state, even if we're sending out to the whole state, it's just not worth all the extra effort. So now we're just. I think the plan should be that we just use this 11.3 cent rate. And so the rules that you have to follow to get the 11.3 cent rate are sort of discussed here. And you have to have at least 200 pieces to 967, 968. Okay, we're just talking about 967 to 968. If you got some pieces in there that go to the mainland, then you want to take those out. There are some party members. Actually, I don't know about party members, but I've seen some mailing addresses that are on the mainland. Well, no, actually, there's mailing addresses for the voter file. There's lots of mailing addresses that are outside the island, namely, you know, Iraq, Kuwait, and so on. So you want to pull those out if you're going to use this, but otherwise you don't. Now, the weight of the piece has to be uniform, because what they'll do is they'll grab, you know, 20 or 30 random pieces and they'll weigh them, and then they'll determine what the weight is. With that, they determine, you know, with that they decide how many pieces you have there. And if you have 26,532 pieces, and it comes out to 28,697,